All right, welcome back to BM Talks to Them. Today we have some of the girls from episode 23,
hmm
the episode that everyone's talking about. Welcome, ladies. How you all feeling?
Hey. Okay.
Good.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey.
y'all.
feeling
Hi.
good.
Hi.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Of course. It's nice to have you guys back. Obviously, as you guys saw from your episode, we had the men on. They got a chance to speak, say their piece, all that good stuff. So we're like, it's only fair that we bring the ladies as well so they can say their piece because a lot of the comments, you guys were pretty much under fire underneath that episode. So we were like, you know what? Let's give them a chance so they can come back on. Maybe there's some things they want to address, whatever it may be, get some stuff off your chest. This is a great moment for you guys to do so. So we just wanted to bring you on the platform and just hear from you guys. I hope you guys are ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you find the experience so far being on the show, and how did you find it when you saw the actual episode come out? How did you feel? Kind of explain your experience. Let's start with
Renee.
Renee.
I had a fun experience. I was surprised to see a lot of negative comments. I thought that we were a very nice episode. No one was mean, or we didn't have like a viral weird moment. I thought that we all made a group chat after. Like, I thought we were cool, but turns out we weren't.
Wait, so you say
But
you thought you didn't have a viral
No,
that
like
whole
she means like they didn't have like some crazy
yeah, like no
rude
one was
Right.
viral moment.
disrespectful, you
But I
know.
mean, as a whole, though, the whole episode is a viral. It's like a viral moment. The whole
Yeah, the
episode, you know.
episode, it was a good episode. I'm saying like we didn't have anyone that was disrespectful or had like some weird commentary or something. All the girls
Mm,
were respectful. The men, we did have a nice lineup, but we just didn't match up. They just weren't our types.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so it looks like we lost Krystina, but we'll continue. When she comes back on, we'll go ahead and pick up with her. So we were hearing from Camina, aka Haitian doll.
Mhm. So
yes, the experience was really fun. I met a lot of amazing girls during the experience. I thought I met amazing friends as the guy side. I guess I was wrong with that. But other than that, watching the episode back, honestly, the negative comments don't really phase me. I mean, I was very respectful. I gave everybody a compliment before I turned them down, so I wasn't really too mean. So, yeah, I liked watching it back, and it showed my bubbly side. I was laughing a lot, so yeah.
Okay. Okay, what about Carrington?
My experience was great. Arizona was beautiful. I love to travel. So just the overall going out there was amazing. I was really nervous beforehand, but the girls definitely made it better for me. We talked, everybody reassured me. Anxiety was through the roof, but it ended up being so easy, so smooth. And like Renee was saying, afterwards we were talking and we're like, dang, we kind of had a boring episode. Like nobody even said anything crazy. Nobody, like everybody, guys and girls in the group chat, all were kind of in agreement that we didn't have a lot of viral moments. We were wrong, clearly, but during the experience, everybody was like, "Oh, like everybody was so nice." Like everybody tried really hard to be respectful, give compliments. It was definitely a learning experience as far as production and how things like this go on. Um, a lot of standing, a lot of standing. Um, but it was great, like being out there. It was amazing, and like Camina said, we all kind of had a bond. We went and did things afterwards as groups, multiple times. We had that group chat. We're really kind of bonding in a way, getting to know each other outside, off of camera. Of course,
Mhm.
now we all have different perspectives of everybody, and the experience is a little tweaked. But initially, it was like, oh, like we might have not found our person, but we definitely found friends out of it initially. But you live and learn. And then as far as the comments and things like that, I'm a very inside person. I am not like I took a detox from the internet and social media before this trip, and getting it back and this being the first thing, it was a lot for me. So I can't sit here and act like, oh, I have the toughest skin. I just stopped reading the comments because I know everybody's pure intent. And after getting to know these women, I just can't. Like, I couldn't sit there and watch them degrade these women as far as their looks, their personalities, because those conversations afterwards show that those 20 seconds that went viral aren't these girls. So it did. It kind of hurt my feelings. It kind of put me in a weird space. Like, oh, okay, for one, I don't date. I don't communicate with people just outside of work and things like that. So this right here was extremely overwhelming, having all those eyes on me from people that I don't even know. But overall, it was nice.
Okay. All right. Let's go and let's move into Ish.
So the experience overall, I think, had a lot of positives to it. Like Carrington said, going through the process, understanding how things like that work, meeting new people. The group of ladies that I met was amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. I have zero bad things to say about any of the women. That was an amazing experience for me. Afterwards, getting to know the guys, you get to know people at a certain level and you see things and you're like, these guys aren't so bad. Not saying that they were bad when we seen them, but you kind of see people for what they are outside of them being on camera. So, felt like I got a really good look at who these people were. And then after the video dropped, seeing all the negativity and everything that people were shooting at the girls, I feel like I got a lot of heat. I'm not saying that everybody got positive stuff, then I got like negativity. But when I tell you I was waking up in a bad mood because so many people were saying all these negative things about me that weren't true. Like there were rumors like all over, people making like individual videos of me, and I've never been under scrutiny like that, especially in such a negative way. And me being the person that I am at the core, it really did hurt my feelings because I'm like, these people literally don't know who I am. They just see these images of something put in front of all these people, and we're expected to do this thing. Like the show is about dating and essentially either accepting or rejecting a person. And I feel like when we're being honest with ourselves and we're rejecting people in front of all of these eyes is seen as such a negative, as if we are meant to be with every person that crosses our path, and that's just not realistic. So I think it was a good experience overall, being able to meet these people and have this connection. But I don't necessarily like how much negativity the women receive, because again, like Carrington said, knowing these women, they are such good women inside and out. And I just can't see what people are seeing online, and I've gotten to know them at the level that I have. So a lot of positives, but I definitely don't care for the negatives that came with it. I feel like if people were a lot more open minded and understanding, they would feel, that we're human too. You can't learn or know somebody off of 20 seconds, especially with all these negative headlines that each episode or each video of, that has been taken out of context has been given. Like, it's just so many he say, she say things that are like, kind of like the telephone. You hear one thing on the first episode, then the next clip, somebody says something different and takes it out of context, and somebody takes that clip, and now that clip is taken out of context. It's just so much, bending and twisting and not even knowing the full truth. So I definitely want people to understand, like, all y'all seen on the internet, not true.
So
Not
Ish, I actually want to ask you a question, right? Because you said that you don't do bold guys, but Mo was basically,
Who?
bold. So obviously people are saying, you say you have to be honest, right? But was you being honest at that time when you say you don't do bold, and then but you was gonna go for Mo?
I think I was being honest, but with Maul, you may not have seen it on camera, but like he literally had hair. Like it was not like completely bald, like he was like missing all his hair. It was
Okay.
legitimately hair growing out of his head. He just had a really low cut. And even if you go on his Instagram page, which I seen afterwards, you can see like videos and pictures of him with actual hair. Like he's not like completely bald. So that's what I was seeing. And I'm not saying that I'm against bald men, because that's another thing that was taken out of context. I think black men especially are really, handsome, especially being bald. I think for me it's just an age thing, and the difference between Rob and Maul was that Rob, like he said, he couldn't help it. Like he didn't have the capability to grow hair, in certain parts of his head, so he was bald. But Maul was a little different. Maybe he was bald or low cut by choice. And I think that's what
But
the difference was for me.
do you get what people see though? Because obviously a lot of people see that he is basically, you know, nearly bald, right?
Hmm.
So when you're coming on this type of show and you're presenting yourself the way that you present yourself, people will judge you by what they see, right? So did you think that the way that you acted, like, and some of the stuff that you said, also, you said the thing about the long distance thing, right? You said that
Hmm.
was an issue. Um, Obviously coming onto the show, I mean, I would imagine you're coming on. If you're flying into Phoenix, I would think that you're okay with long distance. You
Because
know,
other people
because
usually want
yeah,
to.
because the majority of people that come on the show, they're flying from different parts of the states. You
Mhm.
know, so
Right.
what are the
So
chances that you're gonna find somebody that that lives in the same state as you?
I mean, I think the chances of that are very high because you're crossing these people's paths every day. The issue with the long distance, especially the situation with Cliff, is that he's living in Las Vegas, right? I'm living in, the Detroit area of Michigan. That's right here and right here. Long distance is different in Michigan and Ohio than it is from Michigan and Las Vegas. So the proximity was not there for me. Um, if I can drive 4 hours to see a person, if we're doing it every other week, 2 times a month or however it is, the proximity is there and there's some closeness. And I think in any long distance relationship, the parties have to be eventually willing to
Mm.
move, but too far of a distance just would not have worked for me. And I think that's very reasonable. And there were people,
I understand that, but for the show, right? The show is a long distance type of show. Like, you know,
yeah,
it's like
but
if you're coming on the show, you kind of have to be, you know, okay with long distance because everybody else is flying in,
Yeah,
you know,
I,
to
I
fall
think
in
well,
love.
I don't think she's saying she's not okay with it. She's
yeah,
okay with it to a certain
Not
extent.
right,
to a
right.
certain extent. And then
But
and then
this is the
you
thing.
have
You
to
know
hear me.
that
Look, you have to
but
hear
you
me out from my standpoint. You have two people from Philadelphia, right? You had Maul and you had, I don't know her name, but they were from the same state. So that's like a luck thing. I think when you go on these shows, you have to understand that it's some sort of luck or some sort of, destiny. If you're not meant to meet somebody on these shows, you're just not meant to meet that person. But they happen to come on the show and be from the same state. So maybe they were meant to meet. From my standpoint, I know what I was willing to do and what I was willing or what I wasn't willing to do. And I knew like the proximity that I was kind of willing to work with. And that's just what it was. Like there's 8 people, there was 10 of us. It's not always going to be a perfect match or everything's going to be, cookie cutter or perfectly fit in shape. And I think that's what the experience is about. But to say that I wasn't accepting of any type of distance, I think it's kind of just shooting out into the dark because 2 people were from Philly. There could have been somebody from Ohio. There could have been somebody that lived in Indiana, but it just wasn't like that on the episode. And I don't think that's necessarily on me personally. If we're talking about getting realistic matches, like realistically, you guys pick the people. So maybe try doing things on a regional level to where people are more comfortable because I know a lot of ladies, not just myself, that wouldn't necessarily do long distance if it was just too long, like too much of a distance in between the people. So
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, no, I understand what you're saying there, but essentially this show we do put on the description that it is for the whole of the USA. So you have to know that if you're coming on the show, know that you should be open minded to dating people from all over the
All
states.
over.
And I understand you, you know, not wanting to be. Some people come on and they are from the same state, but you know we are picking people who we think is compatible with other people. We're not looking at distance. Me and my wife, I mean, I lived in London for 20 years, and then I came to the US. So if you're talking long distance,
That
that
was
didn't
real
stop
long.
us.
Oh God.
But I definitely understand what you're saying there, and yeah, let's move on to Keia.
Yeah, I'll say I don't want to speak for everyone, but at least for me, I was not ready for these quote unquote 15 seconds of fame. When I just chose to be on the show, it never crossed my mind, oh my gosh, I'm going to get hundreds of notifications a day or whatever feedback I received. My notifications have been on mute for years, so that wasn't a huge problem. I did look at some of the comments the first day the episode dropped, and I said, that's interesting. But I'm the type of person who has no issue with distinguishing the internet from real life. So that's not something that, I will say that there were way more positive comments that I received than negative. Of course, we all receive negative comments. I will say I've gone on a few times and people have actually noticed me. Oh, I really enjoyed, your episode, your positive demeanor, blah, blah, blah. And that was really encouraging to me.
Mm.
Because one thing about me, as you can see on the episode, I try to exude positivity and encouragement for other people, whether or not I know you or not. And so it was really a blessing to me to receive that back in return. Now, for the negative comments, one thing that was really eye opening for me was that people seem to know me better than I know myself. People seem to know my intentions better than I do and better than even God knows me. So I'm so glad that you all are so much more intelligent. And I'll also say that this episode really highlighted to me how big mental illness is and how vastly undiagnosed it is. Because for you, BM, I can't imagine you as the person you are today looking up on anyone's platform just to go on their page, type their name in, go on their page, go under their pictures, and express how much they genuinely have believed in their mind that they hate someone that they have never met. So it was also interesting. There was actually one comment in particular that I came across. A guy who's been talking to himself in my DMs since 2021 decided to go under all of the positive comments and basically say that he knows me. And then I've gone on basically a tour of all of these dating shows. And, it is widely known that I hate Black men. And I go on all of these dating shows just to have a viral moment to be disrespectful. We've never met a day in my life. I did submit my DNA to Ancestry. So maybe, I'm cloned somewhere. But it's interesting that people can make these connotations about you, create this image of you just to demean you. And all I can say is I'll pray for you guys. It's unfortunate. You, BM, are always thinking about the next big move, your next project, how to make money, how to better yourself and your family. And that's the wavelength that I am on as well. So it's difficult for me to understand the thought process of someone who thinks any differently and actually has the time to go on someone else's platform to belittle them. So that's unfortunate, and you're in my prayers.
So I actually do want to add to that as well. So we are actually normal people. Me, I never ever think that I am this big person better than people. No, I am the same as everybody. Once we leave this earth, we're all the same.
Agreed.
You understand? So one thing that I always have to let people know that I'm a musician. I've had all of this that what everyone's getting. You understand? So I've been through it all. The internet, the trolls, the hate. And you know what I say to haters? I don't watch you. So why do you watch me?
Right. That's my point, essentially.
Right. Don't watch me. So if you put too much energy into people that are negative,
Gonna drain you.
you're gonna get drained, and you're just gonna be stuck on their level. They want you to be on that level. But if you don't watch them and you keep going, like if I was to follow haters, I would have failed.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's move on to Krystina.
Okay, so I really loved my experience. I didn't feel like I was disrespectful to anyone. I really didn't read the comments because I'm the type of person who doesn't care. But I definitely had people come under my post and like comment their opinion. I was just like, okay. Yeah, I really didn't care, but most of all, it was a positive experience for me. It was something I did for the first time and I enjoyed everyone. And yeah, it was great. Thank you for having me.
Good. So what would you guys say, like what do you think it was that caused people to be so negatively impacted by your episode?
Me
I
personally, oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go
Yeah,
ahead?
go ahead, Carrington.
Okay. Me personally, I feel like it's because they don't realize that this is a production at the end of the day. Even though it's all authentic and everything that is said is being said, there is a purpose of this show. You want to hear why. You want to hear that initial thought. You want to hear exact things. Like, at first we were being extremely what you would be in the real world. You're at a bar, a guy approaches you. You don't say, "Oh no, I don't. You're ugly. You're ugly." You don't say that. You just be like, "No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not interested." But on a platform like this, when we're expected to, why aren't you attracted to them? Why was it the initial attraction? What did you see? What about his shoes? You have to be specific, and there are only so many ways you could deliver that. If I said I wasn't attracted to you, clearly I'm just not attracted to you. That doesn't mean that you're not handsome, and we got a lot of comments about that as well. People are like, how is every man handsome after you done turned him down? I've met handsome men every day of my life. I've worked with handsome men all day long. That does not mean I'm attracted to any of them. You can be attractive, but not be attracted. And I think there was a really weird turn, and everybody forgot, like, this is a dating show, guys. This is you're not my person. So everybody was just super upset about the fact that this is not you. You might give every man in your DMs a chance. You might hear every man that approaches you out, maybe. But the women lineup that was up there, they're all extremely beautiful women. I promise you that they get attention every day. At least, I can't speak for them, but I've seen them in person. I see myself every day. Just because you seem sweet doesn't mean that I have to entertain that. Making yourself less available in certain ways does higher your value. Having standards does higher your value as a woman, in my opinion. So if I see this man come out and I'm not attracted to him, you guys are like, hear him out. Why? I'm not attracted. I'm gonna hear you out because somebody else might want to hear you out, but I'm not into you. I have to wake up to you every day. If we match, and it goes farther, I have to wake up to you. I have to be proud that you're my man. I have to be able to say, yeah, I chose that, and not have any sex. I went on there really to date, as well as most of these women, in my opinion. Why now on this platform am I supposed to give somebody a chance who I'm not attracted to? And I done flew across the country not to settle. I didn't do that. And they are handsome men. Somebody is going to really want to be with that man and drool over him, and their body's going to get tingly. That wasn't the case for majority of us women, and that's not fair for you all or for them to expect us to hear him out. He's a nice guy. Hear him out. He's got money. Hear him out. He's tall. That's fine. That is fine, but I'm not attracted. And a lot of those comments were telling us that we were just young-minded and we just, our priorities are messed up. And I have to disagree. I have to disagree with a lot of that.
So I have to say as well that people think that, when we're getting this type of traction, or we're here like, oh yeah, we're getting traction. No, we want people to actually match. I want people to actually find their love. That's the main thing. We actually
get like frustrated when there are matches because we're like, dang, we picked these people,
and y'all were.
This is the thing, right? This is because I think I even called Ishii as well, because when I saw her stuff going around, and I had said, look, I know there's a difference with being rude and being honest, right? I know a lot of you was just being honest, right? I even warned you girls on the show. Remember, I stopped recording and I said to you girls, you're all saying the same things.
Piggybacking.
And that's what I think the main thing is, that people just kept hearing the same thing. And it's kind of like, are they all just copy and paste? Like, are they all just copying each other? So do you think that maybe that's what people got?
That could have been something.
I think that was still a hang up, because when we were saying, initial attraction, which is very much the truth, production, behind the scenes, it's like, hey guys, like, you all are saying initial attraction, be specific. And then that's when the girls started to be more specific. They realized, like, maybe we are being a little cushiony, maybe we are being a little nice, and then it got turned into
hate.
So when we actually I said to you ladies, you're saying the same thing. I said the same exact answers is what, when the internet see this, they're gonna have something to say. I said, when the internet see you keep saying the same answers, they're gonna have something to say. And some of you girls as well, when I said that, you didn't believe it,
I got upset, actually.
And I was like, ladies, I want you guys to do well. I want you to do well. But so we didn't say for you to go super dive deep and stuff. We were saying basically just, if you're saying the same thing,
Change it
it's
up
like
a
copy and
bit.
paste.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Ish wanted to speak.
I do. I want to kind of piggyback off of Carrington. Um, I think it sounded like we were saying the same things essentially because we were feeling the same things about these men. Just like Carrington said, you can be nice, you can have a good career, which is funny because a lot of people call us gold diggers, and all of those men have all of those men have very good careers, money. It was never about that. I think we're all women that are successful in our own ways. So um, people hate to see it, but we have options. So those types of things just right off bat doesn't necessarily make us drool and want to pick these guys because they have a good career or they come off nice because if you're a religious person or you believe in a higher power, like you know how to trust in yourself, trust in who you believe in, and that allows you some level of discernment. So every person that you encounter, just because they're nice, you can be a nice guy, but you don't have to necessarily be a good guy. For me, if I talk to every nice guy, then I would be looked at and shamed as a what in the streets, you know what I'm saying? So I think we're all just women and we're successful in a way to where we don't necessarily have to, you know, give attention to all those things that everybody's trying to sell on the internet. And then the thing is too, yes, it's a dating show, but let's be honest and not act like people don't show you representation of themselves when they show up to you for the first time, shoot, for the first couple months. Like they're giving like the best version of themselves because they're in front of you and they're in front of the production team, they're in front of all these women, and they know they're going to be in front of millions of eyes. So let's be clear about that. And then just like Carrington said, I did not fly across the country to settle. I'm trying to be married. I'm trying to date my husband. I'm not trying to date casually and have fun and kiki and talk with somebody. I want children. Like, I want my life to go in a certain direction. And I simply did not see any of those men being the father of my children. And
Okay.
I don't feel bad about that. And then I think the reason why the women on the show episode got so much scrutiny is because a lot of those men, again, they didn't argue back or they didn't fight back or they didn't snap back like men on previous episodes did. And I think the internet has a tendency to try to take up for people that they think need taken up for. And in all reality, I'll just say it right now, none of those men needed any taken up for. They are very capable of taking up for themselves, very capable of taking up for themselves, and they didn't necessarily need that. They went on the show, they had what they wanted to do on their mind, and in my opinion, they did exactly what they needed to do because the internet loved them, right? But as far as the negative scrutiny we received, I feel like we received so much of it because there was no viral moment where the guy was snapping back and saying his piece to simple honesty from the women's part. And I understand you say that we needed to be specific, but we didn't necessarily have to be mean. I still personally don't think that I was mean. I never called anyone ugly. I know a lot of comments said that I was a height shamer and how is 6 feet not tall enough. It was never that with me. Like my first boyfriend that I was with for like the longest, he was 5'7". I'm 5'6.5". I've never had an issue with height. My issue is that, just like a lot of the women agreed, some of those men were being deceitful about what height they were, and that's just what it was.
So
Like,
can I actually just jump in there? All right.
yep, go ahead.
What? So this is for all the ladies. What is it about height?
I don't
What
care
is
about
it
height.
about height that is so important, especially when you're way shorter? And this weekend, where's Haitian doll?
Right there, Camina.
Right there, yeah, Camina and
Hi.
Renee.
And Renee.
Let's ask both of them because you both had, issues with height. What is it that gets you so, like you don't want to pick a guy because of their height? When like you were, Camina was
Camina.
5. She's 5'1",
5'1",
right?
I think. That's what she
5'1",
said, yeah.
and that guy was
6 feet.
6 feet.
So, for one, he didn't really seem 6 feet, but
He wasn't.
kind of like what we're saying. We're on a show. There's production. 8 women with balloons. Me personally, I dated somebody, 5'6", 5'10". But if I'm going to be in front of the camera and like I don't even know the name, the age, what you do for work, what you like, what you don't like, that's very small information. So I'm gonna go what I prefer. It's not mandatory. Like in my real life, I don't use that mindset, but on a show like that, yeah. It's
So
like, okay,
how tall does your man need to be for you to accept them?
I mean, he could be around like, I'll say 5'6" and up. I don't mind that.
You just also have to be attracted to them as well. You're not
Exactly.
going to settle
Exactly. I
for
have to be
height and attraction.
But
exactly
she,
height
but
and
she,
attraction.
she,
But yeah, at
she,
the
but
moment
she
being
didn't
on
say the attraction on the show. She said the height.
well, yeah, but yeah, like I said, if I'm on a show and I just get to know very small information about you. In my real world, it's not mandatory, but if I'm going on Pop the Balloon, it is. I mean, it's not. It's. I'm sorry. So on the show, it's mandatory, but in my real life, it's just a preferred thing. So like, I don't really know much about the guy, so I would prefer him to be, tall. I mean, like I said, he didn't look 6 feet. He looked a bit shorter than that. But then again, that's just how I felt at the moment.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's just
So
what that is.
so what would you say is the difference from the show from your real life? Because it's still real life.
Right.
I feel like my real life, let's say example, a guy comes up to me, we're chatting it up. There's not cameras, there's not
Mm.
I'm 8 women are getting a chance to know this guy, and here I am. Okay, it's not like, it's kind of like one-on-one, more private. So if the guy, let's say, was like 5'6", it's a different situation because I'm actually talking to him. It's private, we're actually getting to know each other, and if I go off of
Okay.
that, he's cool. But if it's somebody just coming out and I'm this, my name is this 27, I do this, it's more easier to just pop on height because I don't know much about you. It's not really that private. That's how I took it as. But yes, I do. Since everybody wants to know or saying, I do date people definitely under 6 foot, and I've dated somebody that was like 5'6" before. So yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I want to just chime in. I think there's such a big difference with the split second decision that we have to make on Pop the Balloon. Like, it's not a realistic setting. We're asked to make these decisions like almost in 30 seconds or less when, like Camina said, you're in a real setting talking to someone, one on one, actually getting to know them. And 9 times out of 10, if you're in a setting like that, you're only talking to that person because you're attracted to them, in one way or another. So you allow them certain things and you give them chances, but like off of initial, like somebody just walking out. And then let's not act like there's not a mental thing to it, to where, like, say the first guy comes out, like if that person is not what you're thinking about, that you want in your head, you're thinking, okay, I have this chance and this chance and this chance after that to see if maybe someone matches me better. Like that, i
Okay.
think i think that plays a role too.
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
Kamina's example, BM, you mentioned, she mentioned height as opposed to physical attraction. I just reiterating the conversation we had earlier, we did pause and you did let us know, hey, you're repeating the same things. Even I went and started saying other things. So Kamina is saying, instead of saying it's physical attraction, as you all instructed us to do, please give different answers.
Mm. Okay.
And for me,
Renee, yeah, go ahead, Renee.
yes, I am a tall woman. Y'all saw that on the show. And I feel like every guy that I've dealt with, I have no problem finding guys that's like 6'4", 6'5", like taller men. And that's just what I prefer because I like a guy with stature, a guy that holds himself to, I like what I like. And no comment can make me change how I feel about the show. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like I said, the guys were handsome, they were nice, but I didn't want to just pick them because they were nice or handsome. I want them to be, like Ishii said, my husband type of material. Like I want to have kids. I'm dating to marry at this point.
Mm.
So I don't want to just settle for someone who I think is nice. I'm nice too. So I don't know.
Okay.
I just want someone who fits me, my person, and I didn't find that, which is okay.
So for
I'm
me,
also like,
sorry, can I just, yeah, because Keia said something that I actually want to correct, right? Camina, when she said that height thing, was with the first guy that came out. I said to you girls too, you're saying the same thing after the third or
Third
fourth
guy.
guy, right? So this is what I'm trying to say to people that come on the show. You have to be real within yourself and know that you can actually come on a platform on a show like this.
Mm.
Because it's a lot more than you just seeing on the screen thinking it's easy. I can just walk in and just do this and say
exactly.
that. So, when you're coming there, know that be prepared that you will get asked questions. My wife will ask you why. You'll pop in, be specific and all that type of stuff. And also know how to present yourself. Know, if you want people to see you like this, make sure you present yourself the way that you want them to see you. So I think a lot of people are not really mentally prepared. They just come on the show thinking that it's going to be very easy.
It's gonna be fun.
Right. So I want to ask you ladies, what have you learned by coming on the show?
I personally learned, for one, the internet is a terrible place. We're gonna go to the internet is crazy. That's for one. For two, I learned that everybody has ulterior motives. Don't get me wrong. In my 26 years of life, I've met all walks of life, and I know that people aren't who they portray themselves as anyway. But mentally going onto the show, I was thinking, oh, if I am taking it serious enough to fly across the country and put myself in a vulnerable place, because that's exactly what it is. I thought that the opposite side, the men and the women that are alongside me, were in that same mindset. And honestly, it just taught me to keep my guard up. Like, I don't regret not matching. I'm actually very thankful that God put me in a position to get out of that situation. Because, after the show, we definitely got really acquainted with everybody, majority of the men, majority of the women, and it showed me that there's nothing different outside of your hometown. There's nothing different outside of your city. These men are the same. These women are, your person's gonna meet you, and then you don't have to force it. And yeah, that's kind of what it was given. It was given like, oh, okay, I'm putting myself on the line to essentially force it. Like, hopefully I find this guy, this dream guy, all the way in Arizona. When it's like, no, you met those same men that you meet downtown. You met them same men that come and holler at you every day in that inbox. On the internet, of course, it was portrayed in a way, and I love that they got the positive light that they got, but I hate that it was at our expense. And I had to realize that we can't defend ourselves against everybody. It's not even worth it. There's not enough hours in the day to defend ourselves against everybody. But at the same time, I definitely learned that as a Black woman, which all of us are Black women, that there's nobody here to defend us. Because even though we did befriend those men, and we got really acquainted and personal with those men, they came back on this platform and doubled down on that we weren't good women. They doubled down on those comments that were being said, even though in the messages it was completely different. In that group chat, it was completely different. In our personal messages, it was completely different. And I definitely learned to stop putting your heart on your sleeve. Stop, you can be a genuine person, but you can't look for that in everybody else. So it was definitely a learning experience with meeting new people. Because like I said before, I don't meet a lot of new people that I am pursuing in any type of friendship, relationship manner. And because I did, at this point, it just was like that was a learning experience. Like, oh my gosh, you're a fool. That was ignorance right there.
Yeah. Let's hear from Krystina.
So I learned that I should probably be more prepared for things like this. I just regret like not thinking about my answers before I came, and like not being as engaged because I was just trying to be like genuine, like 100% myself or whatever. But yeah, I definitely should have been more prepared, and I feel like once again I was very respectful. I did learn that it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. So yeah, that's really it.
Okay. And then Keia.
Yeah, I'll say that I truly do believe that I was prepared for an experience like this. God really has everything aligned for your best interest. And I'll say that, there's always a blessing at the end of the road. So I am proud of going on the platform and being the genuine person that I am. I am proud of how I represented myself and how I respected everyone's son who came on the platform. I am proud of how I conducted myself thereafter. And so I'll say that God always has the final say and win at the end of the day. So overall, I'm blessed for the experience.
Okay. And Renee.
Yes, I learned that no matter how you represent yourself, you're always going to be perceived as whatever another person wants to think. For me, I felt like I was 100% myself. I gave nice answers. I was nice. I feel like I represented myself well, and people still had negative things to say about me. Yeah. That's about it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Ishii.
For me, I learned that one, the internet is a very unreal place. I feel for those celebrities and like different people that are on a way higher platform and at a way higher status than us, and the attention we receive, because they receive hate like a million times more than us. So I can only imagine how their mental health is. Hearing the things that people said about me, like absolute lies, like saying that I had three kids and three baby daddies. I don't have any kids, by the way. I don't have any baby
Where was
fathers.
that? That was on YouTube.
That was on Instagram. Like people would
Oh,
tag me and stuff, and I got tagged in like literal videos that people made just of me and quote unquote mean things I said to these guys, and they were making up all types of lies about me, that I had on a wig. Never wore a wig on the platform. My real hair has always been that. So I wanted to address that as well, because I did not have a wig on that platform. But I'm just going on to say that these people will make up things about you and literally like believe it in their own minds, and it's actually sick. So I'm praying for everybody that, that wants to be an internet therapist with absolutely no experience and no degree. If y'all are that interested in doing that, by all means go sign up for some classes, because y'all will be good at it if you were actually right. But yeah, outside from that, just like Carrington said, you perceive people in a certain way, especially with how they present themselves on camera, and getting to know the guys behind the scene. Thought I built really good friendships with them, but seeing the podcast and how it played out, it was giving very much black women aren't protected, and I didn't necessarily agree with that. I'm sure they lead overall good lives. I just didn't like the way that they, like Carrington said, doubled down on how we were, these terrible black women, and getting to know them and hearing the positive things that they were saying about us, and then to go out on the internet and completely flip the script. It was like absolutely mind blowing. It was like blindly raging to see that they did us like that. Just learning to take things with a grain of salt. You think you know somebody, even though if you've known them for a short period of time, like they're only going to show a certain amount of themselves until for lack of better words, shit really hits the fan. And shit happened to hit the fan, and we were, like I said, it wasn't a good experience for us. So just that, and maybe choosing different word choice when describing things, I would say that. But other than that, it was a positive experience, and I think that I presented myself in a good light. Everybody that knows me personally hit me up and said, like, you presented yourself well, you presented Detroit well, we love you, we're proud of you, and all these other things. Like, it takes a really brave person to be able to do something like that, and you did it, and you looked good while doing it. So that made me feel good. The people that actually love me and care for me gave me positive feedback, and that's
okay,
really all that matters at the end of the day.
okay. And Camina.
What I learned is you could go out and be yourself as respectful as you want to be. People are always gonna find something to say.
Mm,
And it's okay. Also as well too, I learned you can't trust everybody. I mean, I always thought that, and I'm very closed off of making friends and all that. So even just bringing these girls as friends and the guys on the show as friends is a big thing for me, because I'm a very private person when it comes to just like having people involved in my personal life other than social media.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I learned that you can't trust people. People smile in your face and act like they're cool with you. And yeah, so going to the podcast you guys did with the boys, I was pretty shocked. Because we've been in this group chat, I believe, for 2 weeks, maybe, I don't know, and we were thinking everything's cool, everything's okay. And to just see the stuff they said about us that they knew completely was not true about us. They know us from a different level of just the show that we filmed. So, I learned, I'm gonna just keeping how it was. Don't be letting people in my circle like that. Besides the ladies that I did become friends with, because they haven't shown me signs that they switched up on me. And then bringing back the PTSD haircut part, honestly, seeing everybody laugh about that on that podcast really did um hurt me in a way, because I'm a woman, and if I'm saying a man, his hair, because if you guys know what PTSD is, you can get it from a taste, a color, environment. Doesn't matter what it is. PTSD comes from anything, and it's not anybody's place to know what happened. Just know that that haircut did resemble a man that I dealt with, And that's just what it was. So the fact that people took that and was laughing and joking, oh, I'm gonna go to the barber and get the PTSD haircut. First of all, I don't even know what this man did to me. And the fact that it was becoming a laughing stock did really make me feel some type of way. And I also want to tell other women too, don't ever be ashamed what your PTSD makes you feel. It could be, I don't know, color. Don't be scared, oh, I'm gonna look stupid or people are gonna laugh at me. If that's what your trauma is, that's what your trauma is going to be. And you know what it is. And I was more, I healed from that moment in my life, and I was brave enough to go on the show and say, hey, because I could have just made up anything. Oh, he's short, or oh, he's too buff, or whatever. But I healed from that moment. I'm able to say right then and there, this is what gives me trauma. And I do not want to wake up to a man every day to see that haircut, and it's just going to bring back memories of what happened to me. So that's where as well, I learned you can't really be too open sometimes, and things could be taken as a joke. And it's funny too, because when I did speak to Kendall, I did tell Kendall, like, yeah, that wasn't a joke. That was trauma. So to see him go on that podcast and laugh and joke, like, it's just, I don't know. I just learned so much. You can't trust, you can't open up too much. You can't people take things and throw it around. So I just learned sometimes I gotta keep my mouth shut about certain touchy things, and I can't just go and open up, I guess.
I'm
But yeah.
sorry you had that
Yeah,
experience,
and to
Camina.
touch on that, Camina, we didn't know the severity of that whole situation, because I think even when you said on the show, you kind of smiled a little bit. So I think that's what caused everyone to laugh
this
at
is
that.
the thing. This is what I was talking about. How you act on the show is how people are going to take it. Like when you said that, I think it seemed like you said it like in a jokey way, but obviously it was serious,
Serious,
right?
yeah.
I feel like so
Yeah,
when
it
you
was
spoke,
serious.
when you spoke to Kendall by himself, you let him know that it was a serious thing. But everyone else that saw it on the show,
Yeah.
they didn't know that. Do you get?
Yeah, and I have a thing too. When something's hard for me to talk about, I either laugh a lot or I smile. There's certain ways where I hide, but I can't explain it. Like, I'm just kind of like that. If I'm nervous, I'll start laughing a lot too on the show. I'm just a natural laughing person, but as well on the show, I was a little bit nervous. I was more giggly than usual, but it's just stuff like that. But like I said, I was able to speak about it, and I know millions of people are gonna see it. And it's just kind of like, I smiled, not that it was a joke, but it's just a thing that I do if like things,
But
like are
and
comfortable to talk about a little bit, but I was
that
still able
that's
to.
why it's so hard as well. When you come on the show, because the people that are watching, they don't know this.
They don't know you.
Exactly.
They're just knowing this right now as you're saying this. That's why I wanted all of you girls to come and speak, to explain yourselves as well, because now when they're watching, they might have a different perception of how you acted. So one thing as well that I do want to kind of end off on is that it takes a lot for people to come on the show. People that watch this at home, they're watching on YouTube, but for you, so all of you ladies coming on the show is a big thing,
Very
and
brave.
I thank you a lot for being you and staying strong, because most people can't do this. I want to ask you ladies, would you ever do this again?
No, they just weren't. The guys weren't serious enough, so no, I wouldn't.
Anyone else could go next.
I would do it again. I would just come more prepared. That's all.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it again because goes back to people show you what they want you to see, but behind closed doors, it could be a whole different person. So I wouldn't.
I feel the same way. I feel like the experience was fun, and I was expected to find a match, and I didn't. So no, I probably wouldn't do it again. But it was still a great experience for me, and I'm grateful that y'all brought me on.
Knowing what I know now, probably wouldn't do it. Just based off of how everything unfolded here in our case, uh, internet and on the personal level with the young men that we were, on the show with, I wouldn't do it again.
I'll currently say I'm unsure. I will say that I would much rather not have to and meet my person. And I am just ready to cook my man a Sunday dinner, Sunday football dinner, and make sure that his beard is nice and oiled. So, yeah. I'm just ready for my man. I don't care about all this other stuff.
Right, and that's the spirit, ladies. I really hope you all find love one day. I really do hope you all find your person. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you
being
for
you.
having me.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone. Be blessed.
y'all.
Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.
All right, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next time.